So what we're going to do now is going to draw an angle with a protractor, which not that hard to do. So first off, example 3. By the way, we're going to do types of angles, which are going to be acute, right, and obtuse, which you should have already learned long ago. But the first thing we're going to do is draw a 155-degree angle using both a ruler and a protractor. So the ruler tool is right here. So that is the first thing we have to do. And then we're going to have to use the drawing tool, which is second. And then lastly, we'll have to do this as our protractor tool. So we're going to have to go ahead. Sorry, that's not my, here we go. Here we'll click the first one, which is that ruler tool. We'll click down, and then we're going to have to use the pencil tool to draw. So we're just drawing a straight line. So you click this, put it down here, and then click it again somewhere. And then we're going to click this to just draw along that straight edge. Now we're going to move that away. Let me move this here, move it away. And then what we're going to have to do is this protractor tool. So very similar to before, we're going to put this right here. And we're going to rotate it so it's at 0. And then you have that dot with that X there. So, and then we have it kind of close as best I can on this. And then we're going to look at this. So we're going to go all the way up to 100. Actually, I'm going to move this over a little bit. You can click it anywhere on that straight line. So if I wanted to go here, this can be my new point right there, wherever I want to click it. Just because it's not on the screen, I want to do that. And then it said 155 degrees. So I'm going to go to 155, which is right here. And you're going to draw a dot. So you're going to use this tool to put a dot. So once you put this protractor up, you're going to click the line tool and you're going to do a dot. So then we're going to move that away. Let's go ahead and move this protractor away. And then we go back to the line tool. And we're going to go ahead and put that right here and right here. And we're going to draw that straight line. So we're going to use that. Sorry, move it right there. And we will draw that straight line. Let me actually move that so I can see the other dot. So let's put backward a little bit. Yep, there we go. So there we can go ahead and draw this line from here to here with that pencil tool. Now, that is essentially what we have to do. So now that you have that, this angle should be 155 degrees. So now I would like you to try this one yourself. And again, you're going to start with the ruler tool, and you're going to kind of make a straight line using this tool here with the pencil, and then see if you can do that yourself. So if you did try it, it should look like this. So you, again, that straight line, you go up 25 degrees, you draw this for that 25 degrees. It is easier to do in person rather on the Alex, but it's something that I would like you to know how to do both. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and then we're going to talk about our last thing, which are types of angles. And also angle addition, I guess there's two last things. So again, this is example 4, so highlight in blue. And then below we'll have angle addition. So let's just make sure we highlight all of the colors. Something I do right away just to have. So acute angles. So if you don't remember what acute angles are, they're smaller than 90 degrees. So we're going to say they're less than 90 degrees. And if I think about it, let's put like kind of a tick mark dash line vertical here. So like this would be 90 degrees right here. So I'm going to put a box right there. And this angle right here would be acute. So we're basically talking only about this angle. And this, remember, is 90 degrees, so it's smaller than that, which is acute. Now a right angle, very nicely, is just that with a box. So you go like this. Again, if you want to make sure it's clear it's a right angle, you always put that box, which means a right angle, or equal to 90 degrees. And then lastly would be greater than 90 degrees, which is obtuse. So again, if we have a line segment like this, and we put a vertical ray like that, which you have this angle, we want this angle, something bigger than that, which would be that obtuse angle. So what we're going to do is just classify these four angles of this quadrilateral, quad meaning four. We have four angles. So what are they? So if we look at angle A, which is right here, by the way, if we have angles like this, we can use a single letter if there's no other line segments or rays coming off of that. If there's only two, then it's okay to name this angle A. That's something we don't do that often, but it is allowable, especially in these different figures that are like quadrilaterals or polygons, we call them. So we're going to look at angle A, which is 110 degrees, which is definitely bigger than 90, so that is obtuse. Let's look at angle B, which is smaller than 90, so that is acute. Angle C is bigger than 90, so that's obtuse again. And then lastly, we know that angle 90 degrees is in fact right angle, because that's the definition of what a right angle is. So those should be very review-like and easy to do. And this gets into our last thing, which is angle addition. We're going to be adding those types of angles that are acute, obtuse, or right. So angle addition is something where we have, if we have two angles, or we have this angle, and then I put something in the middle, or in between anyways. Let's give it some names. So we're going to put like Z, W, we'll put a Y, and we'll put an X. And then let's just say this is angle 1, and this one is angle 2. So what we can do is just say that the measure, and we're going to use M for measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So again, M equals measure. And we'll use that for writing out, so measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So if I put those two angles together, it is this full angle here. That is angle addition. So this is the measure of angle X, W, Z. Again, go from X to W to Z. That is what angle addition is, and it's very similar to segment addition, and in the fact that you're taking two angles and making one bigger angle. Segment addition is two segments that make one bigger segment. So a question you would see is something like this: the measure of angle ABD. So we have A, then B, then D, which is 117 degrees. So I like putting in the picture this is 117 degrees. We know that measure of angle 2 is 2 times the measure of angle 1. How do I write that? So the measure of angle 2 is 2 times the measure of angle 1. So when it says times, that is a multiplication symbol, or we're going to use a dot in this case. So not an X, but we use dots because we don't want to interpret that as like finding the variable X. If you didn't know, when it asks about more, if it asks you, says more than, this will be addition, and then times, if you didn't know, is equal to multiplying, or I like using the dot. Okay, so this is a key step. So if I was asking you on a test, this is what you would need to write down as your first step. Now, we do know that angle 1 and angle 2, from above that segment or angle addition, angle 1 and angle 2 is this whole angle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to the entire thing of 117 degrees. Now, we know that in fact this measure of angle 2 we could substitute in. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the measure of angle 1 plus, well, the measure of angle 2 is just 2 of those measure of angle 1s. So I'm just going to substitute. So what we did was substitute this into here, because that's what measure of angle 2 is. Now, just think about this. This is one of these measure of angle 1s, and this is 2 of those measure of angle 1s. So 1 plus 2 is 3 of those measure of angle 1s, and that's 117 degrees. So we're just combining like terms. So combine like terms. By the way, this first one, if you wanted to write a thing, this is called angle addition. That's basically our justification. So those are things that you should be writing down in your notes. Now, to get rid of this 3 times the measure of angle 1 is 117. To undo multiplying, again, there is a times sign here when there's no spaces. We're going to undo this by dividing by 3. So divide by 3 to both sides. And then what we have very nicely is that the measure of angle 1 is in fact 117 divided by 3, or 39 degrees. And that would be my final answer. Now you could find the measure of angle 2 very easily by just subtracting 117 minus that to find that, because we know that 39 plus something is 117. But that would be how we would find that angle.